Hey, what's up guys? My name is Victor and welcome to my YouTube page, which is all about helping people navigate their spiritual awakening or ascension process. And today's video is part 2 of my weekly Q&A video that I make for my subscribers when they ask me questions that pertain to ascension or the awakening process. And you can always find all of the questions right down in the description box below. And we will get going. Someone says, I am compelled by your ideas of ascension, but I can't help but question. How do you guys know any of this is actually true? That's a good question, dude. And the truth is, we don't. But I would say that no one really knows anything. How do you know the sky is really blue and your eyes aren't just deceiving you? You know, how do you really know anything? What you're really seeing is people doing the best they can to verbalize and express their experiences. Myself, as well as all the other people who have similar YouTube channels with this type of content, the people who are writing about the ascension, the people who feel they are channeling messages, we're all just doing our best to, again, convey what's going on inside of us. And what's kind of interesting is that along the journey, oftentimes we all get our own personal validations that don't necessarily translate into proof for other people, yet to ourselves we know it's true, at least for our own life and our own life experience. It's proven itself to us time and time and time again. And it's just one of those things that, yeah, it's difficult, and perhaps it's that way for a reason, because maybe we're not supposed to just go around and impose our own truths, our own life experience onto other people. So that's what I'm not trying to do that. I hope you don't take it that way. I'm simply expressing my own truth in a way that is the most exciting to me. And I understand that a lot of people will come across my videos and say this is complete nonsense. You must be deluded. I expect that. That's okay. But I do know there are plenty of people who do resonate with what I'm saying. And not so much what I'm saying, but the content of the videos, the messages about the ascension and awakening process is coming shift. This resonates with a lot of people. And those are the kind of people I'm aiming to talk to and reach and kind of build a community around. It's okay that not everyone believes this, and some people are going to say, how do you know, doofus? You just blindly want to, are you so desperate to believe in something bigger than yourself that you're willing to cling on to any illogical idea like the ascension? I can totally see where people would think that. But again, for myself, I've had so many experiences that have proven to me that this is unfolding in my own little reality bubble, regardless of what other people are going to think. So the important thing, dude, is to validate your own experience. That's my own advice. Validate your own experience and allow it to not necessarily align with everybody else and what everybody else sees. All of the accounts of how things are, what reality is always based upon the individual local perspective, which of course is subject to their own individual experience. So my perspective is going to be different than your perspective, and so is the next guy's. But that's okay. I'm just sharing mine, assuming that there are going to be other people who see things the way I do, and in full understanding that many won't. This person asks, I love meditating to YouTube music, but I question if the vibration is actually disruptive to my own frequency. Should I not be doing this, etc.? So this, I would just say, you got to just see how it makes you feel. Personally, I don't do it. I feel dissonance from, I don't know if it's YouTube or the internet or just being connected to Wi-Fi, or something about the computer energy is not pure to me. That's why I like my singing bowl. But that doesn't mean, there's plenty of people who listen to binaural beats all day on YouTube and have good experiences. So there's no inherent negativity in the vibration of the computer, you could say. Just you gotta experiment. Maybe you love this because you haven't tried anything better. Maybe just I don't know, play a iTunes song of someone playing a singing bowl or binaural beats, whatever you're listening to, and see if you can discern the difference within yourself. But if you like a binaural beat or something on YouTube and you like it and it makes you feel good and more centered, then there's nothing wrong with that. And perhaps you will down the line become so sensitive that is disruptive, or you won't. It's all about your own personal experience. Victor, can you please speak on the Mandala Affect? I've gotten that from a few people, maybe just one person who really wants me to talk about it. And admittingly, it wasn't until I saw that comment until I actually knew what it was. But I did some research, and I went to some trusted sources that I follow that resonate with me anyway. And I'm not the person to ask. I'll kind of spit out what I learned recently. But it seems to me that there are a lot of, it's like evidence to people. It's a way to show people that parallel realities do exist, because these parallel realities are kind of like converging and molding into one reality. And there's some people that are sort of indigenous to a particular reality that other parallel reality people are kind of merging into and kind of converging with. So these people might have a different memory of certain things than the indigenous folk. But that's basically all I can really share about that. It's like a little glitch, little sign of parallel realities now kind of converging, as we all, not just the earth, but the whole, much of creation is going through an upgrade and a transformative ascension process, you could say. Not just our dimension here. And with that are a lot of cool and noticeable side effects, good or bad, depending on how you choose to label it. Vic, how does marijuana affect my chakras? Will it benefit or hinder me in my meditation? It's like many things. Personally, for me, it's a paradox. I don't like smoke marijuana then meditate, personally. There have been times when like baked or high, that I've been able to become very meditative. But for me, it's always been a little bit, on one hand, I'm able to meditate more deeply, but on the other hand, I feel like, personally, I feel like a constriction of my chakras. Like there's, that's the best way I could put it. Like it's almost not great for my chakras. Maybe it unleashes too much of my energy and I'm experiencing the effect of feeling like I'm blocking it. But again, on one hand, I can like get really meditative and in the moment, but on the other hand, I wouldn't recommend it for like purifying your chakras or anything like that. But it can be a tool, man. That's just me. Marijuana is one of those things that affect people very differently. So does a lot of substances. Some people, react very strongly to gluten. Some people are totally fine, and some people just can't eat fish. Some people can smoke weed and become their most grounded selves, and other people can't. But it really is about you, and just testing all these different things on yourself and being honest with the results. Maybe you love smoking weed and you want to tell yourself that, oh, it's helping my chakras balance, but really you're lying to yourself to justify the fact that you're smoking weed. But maybe smoking weed isn't a big deal for you. Again, it can go any which way, man. If there's one thing that people are here to do, especially you and me, the light worker type folk, the people awakening, are to express the fact that there are no hard rules in life. There is no, this is good, this is bad. No one should do this, everyone should do this. That's nonsense. I mean, look around at the diversity of all the different cultures and peoples and interests and personalities and likes and dislikes. There is no way to say that anything is universally good or bad. It's all about you, man. If it's helping you, great. As long as you're being honest with yourself. Again, I personally smoke weed once in a while, recreationally. I just went to an awesome concert, Guns N' Roses concert, man, a reunion. It was just amazing. And where all my friends had probably like 10, 12 beers, I smoked a little bit of my organic weed, and I had an amazing time. For me, it enhanced the experience. Now you could say, oh, wow, you're depending on this for fun. Maybe, I don't give a shit. I had a blissful and amazing time. That's me. Other people will say, wow, it's a crutch. Again, a lot of debates when I talk about this in the comments section. You just gotta ignore what others are saying and be honest with yourself. That's my advice. How can I stop being afraid of the future? I don't know. I don't know, man. I get afraid of the future sometimes. But here's the thing. Here's what I would recommend. This is where I want to go with this question. I don't know if anyone can tell you how to stop experiencing fear about the future. That's a conflict within yourself that I suspect is in the process of being resolved. But what you can do is you can make a choice. How are you going to let this fear of the future dictate your actions? Are you going to let it prevent you from going forward? Or are you going to go forward anyway and accept whatever degree of fear is going to flare up as a result? That's the route I take, because I have found personally, the faster and more boldly I expand myself. For example, starting this YouTube channel has been a roller coaster of emotions. All these different levels I'm reaching as I gain new subscribers, and now I'm getting some negative comments and stuff. People just tearing me down. There's a lot of emotions going on, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because I have a goal, I have a vision for where I want my life to be, and I suspect you do too. And I personally learned that the fears that come up are conditioned responses, usually based in rooted in early childhood, that really have nothing to do with who I really am. They're just an effect of my upbringing here on earth, which was a good chunk of the time here I was very unconscious and kind of wired myself unconsciously. And as I break out, as I emerge into my true self and go forth into my divinely inspired directions that I'm guided to go towards, I have come to just accept that these conditioned patterns tend to flare up as I break out of these egoic chains I'm in. So I can't tell you how to stop feeling fear, but I can suggest that you just ignore the fear, accept that you are a human being, and to varying degrees for many people it does flare up as you press beyond your comfort zone. But the more you are able to do that, the less of an effect the fear has. And the more, every time you expand yourself, experience the fear, you do realize that, oh wow, this fear really is just a conditioned aspect of myself. I don't really have to validate it. I can just kind of ignore it, and then it goes away. It's when you validate it and believe the fear, that's where people get stuck. You want to go do something, you feel afraid, the fear energy turns into thoughts. Your brain has no shortage of time to conjure up clever rationalizations that justify the fear, and then you say, wow, maybe I shouldn't go forward because of this. I would say be very honest with your inner workings and mental processes in that regard, and almost always I've come to find that the fear is bullshit. It's not worthy of being listened to, and it's just something that I would just choose to ignore and go forth where your heart is guiding you regardless, without the expectation that the fear should or should not be there. Someone asked me what my thoughts are on opiates and how they might affect the ascension process. Now you come to an experienced opiate user here, my friend. I don't like to say things are bad or anything, but to me, maybe I'm biased because I had such a negative experience, but to me, opiates, for some people, are one of those things that they're just incredibly addictive. The high, the euphoria is so intense, it becomes very difficult to not want to repeat that process. And as you do that, it's like your judgment becomes very clouded, and it's very difficult to weigh the true consequences of continuing to indulge in these opiates. And that can lead to a lot of problems. That's me though, man. And I would say that people that don't experience that won't even want to do them anyway. You talk to a lot of people who take a Vicodin when they go to the dentist, and they say, God, I just hate these. They make me feel nauseous. I don't feel good. I try not to take them. Then there's people like me that I feel amazing. I feel like I'm full of energy. I'm full of enthusiasm. I just feel this euphoric buzz that just runs through me. It's so hard to not do it again the next day. I see these honestly in a different category than your debatably positive, for some people, substances like psychedelic naturally occurring substances like psychedelics and marijuana and whatnot. Those, I think, are easier to make a case for being a positive influence at times for some people. Whereas opiates, I see more of a very synthetic, just flooding of like dopamine and serotonin into your brain, which of course feels great. But I didn't experience that as much of like a enhancement or an enhanced ability to connect with my higher aspects or other aspects of my consciousness. Again, it was just a big high. Sort of like just digging into ice cream. It tastes good. You get like high from it. But to me, it's like a human trap in a way. But that's me, man. There are no hard rules, but I would be surprised to run across somebody who really is like an opiate user who is doing that out of genuine joy and excitement and out of alignment with their true core spirit self. I would be very surprised. Someone asked me, how can I get past being afraid of all the new perceptions I'm having that I know others don't experience? Just like anything, dear. Just like someone, if you were to ask, I just started riding a bicycle. How do I become not afraid? I'm not used to being on these two thin-ass wheels driving at 15 miles an hour on cement. How do I not be afraid of falling? You just keep riding that bike. After a few months, you'll be like nothing. It's like riding a bike in that analogy. They're new to you, very unfamiliar. Yeah, it does kind of add to the intensity when you know other people aren't experiencing it, so you can't help but sometimes question your own sanity. But for me anyway, and I suspect for many of you, it's calm down. I don't get freaked out. A lot of the symptoms, a lot of the experiences, like a lot of times I'll see like flashes of light. Sometimes I see extraterrestrial beings faintly in my vision that come in and mess around with my energy field. That freaked me out in the beginning, but now I'm like, oh good, they're back. They're gonna come hook me up. I see them now as allies, and the effect they have on me is positive. And just having that experience more than once or more than a few times, you just come to a mental understanding that, oh wow, this is kind of a good thing. But in the beginning, again, it was like, this is so unfamiliar. What the hell is that thing? What are they doing coming at me? It's natural. You just got to allow time. Time takes time. You got to allow yourself to experience them for a little while. You're new to it, and any new thing can be kind of fearful in the beginning. So I had a couple people reporting that they're basically having memories. Well, it was when they dip into the sleep state. Some people just waking memories kind of flash at them, and they say not like deja vu. I think they both put it that way. It's not like deja vu. It's almost like a flash memory of themselves as another person in another life with other friends, another occupation, a whole nother like parallel version of themselves. And that's what it is, man. That's my own understanding anyway. That everything is in the now. There really is no past and future. These are just linear. It's like a linear. It's a side effect of our very limited human consciousness. We experience our moments in a progressive like string of events, and therefore our minds sort of project past and future, but they're just projections, and in reality it's all just about the now. So even your past lives are really simultaneous parallel lives, and your soul, your oversoul, is very big. Again, this is hard to understand as a little human brain, because we're kind of trapped in this like little just again a very limited little box we've allowed ourselves to kind of descend into this earth plane. But really, our big, massive soul has done this all over the place in many other lives, as other beings, as extraterrestrials, many of us. But we're re-expanding. Our little limited human consciousness is re-expanding. And as we expand, we're becoming more aware of other aspects of ourselves that we were just blind to. Now you're not so blind to it. So I'm also this. I'm also this. I'm really this. I'm not this. We're becoming aware of this little shell we've been living in becoming aware that this is not really who we are. And if anything, in a sense, it is part of us, but we are more than that. We are more than our personality, more than our circle of friends, more than our little progression of life experiences we've acquired in our very short, little limited life here. We are more. And as you become aware more, you're also this. You're also Joe Bob from the Arcturian civilization, whatever. So it's just cool, man. It's a sign that your consciousness is really expanding and you're becoming more aware of who you really are. It's a cool thing. It's nothing I would say to have to go and decode or nothing like that. Just a lot of us are going to be having very similar symptoms because we are really expanding a lot now. Like, I can't even express, but I really feel a change already, and yet I sense such a strong change, very like coming soon. And I just think a lot of these experiences a lot of you guys are having are just going to be very much more frequent, more commonplace. You can become more comfortable with them. It's a really exciting time, man. This is like the real deal, what we're living in. We're living in what we've all been kind of wanting and fantasizing and hoping for. It's really like, it's here. You can tap into these wild things that 10 years ago were just like, completely non-existent to most of us. So I would say good for you, man. That's probably cool. It might happen for a reason. Perhaps you will be able to derive some wisdom or guidance in becoming aware of these other like aspects of your personality. I feel that happened to me, and this, you guys also might be experiencing this in like a different way. Like I experience this as well by making these videos. I feel like I tap in to other aspects of my consciousness all throughout the video. Like almost like I'm channeling, but I'm not a clear channeler yet. So sometimes you get my personality, my Victor, my ego. Sometimes like I feel like there's an ET, like an extraterrestrial parallel version of myself that comes through. And all these different like a mishmash of aspects of myself I experience when I make these videos, especially. But that's me. That's my own little way. You might have memories. Other people might have dreams. Other people, might get weird synchronicities that paint a picture of a parallel existence for them. But from my understanding, we oftentimes, again, derive like our divinely inspired thoughts oftentimes come from other realities that we are also present in. As much of a mind boggle that really is. So I would just say, cool, man. I appreciate you sharing with it. It's interesting for me to read about your guys' cool symptoms as well. With that, I will close. Again, guys, I wish you all the best. I truly am so grateful and appreciative of how awesome you all are. It is a blessing to have such a compilation of incredibly powerful and unique souls like yourself leaving comments and building a little community. And when I wake up and I read some of the comments, it's just so exciting for me. And I just appreciate all the kindness you guys show me. And yeah, so that's it, guys. I love you all. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I will see you next week in another video. And of course, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section, and I'll hook you up next week. God bless you all.